1, 2, 3, drop.
Yeah, ain't nobody dope as me. I'm just so fresh, so clean. Good morning, Baton Rouge. Today is Saturday, November 29th, 2014, and we are live here at 96.9 FM WHYR-LP, Baton Rouge Community Radio, for another edition of Louisiana All-American Sports. That was a little bit of a different take on the intro. That was the Southern University Band, and of course the reason we're playing an intro with the Southern University Band is because today is that one special time of the year for HBCU football fans. It is the Bayou Classic, as Southern University and Grambling State University are meeting down at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans today, and will ultimately decide the Southwestern Athletic Conference Western Division Championship. So it's going to be a big day in sports today for Southern and for other college programs. I'm Eric Hatfield.
And I'm Gerard Piper. Good morning, Baton Rouge.
And we've got a lot of sports for you today. If you want to talk to us, 225-343-9927, area code 225-343-9927. First of all, though, before we get on to the college ranks, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Saints and that very dysfunctional, schizophrenic path by which they're taking, still tied for first place, and we'll talk LSU, but let's talk about the young folks, where it all starts first in high school football. The high school football playoffs continued last night. The Louisiana All-AmericanSports.com game of the week was last night. It was the Southern University Lab Kittens against the Madison Prep Academy Chargers at Doug Williams Stadium. Now, it was very competitive last night. The final score, Southern Lab won by the score of 26-12 over Madison Prep. Madison Prep is only in their second season of district play, and they've already advanced to the state semifinals. Southern Lab, of course, was eliminated in the state semifinals last year by St. Frederick, a St. Frederick's team that they curb stomped in the first round of the playoffs this year. And now the Southern Lab Kittens are one win away from winning the Division IV LHSAA state championship. Joker, just looking at that game last night, it looked like Southern Lab stuck with the formula that got them there, but they put in a few new wrinkles. Of course, they pounded the ball hard with Darby on Profit, but then mixed it up with some passing.
Yeah, they did. They did a good job last night. It started out kind of rocky. Started out kind of slow. They was shooting themselves in the foot by getting unnecessary penalties, and I think the play calling was kind of suspect at first, but they actually settled in. They was controlling the offense and the defensive line, so they was able to withstand Madison Prep, which gave a great effort. Their quarterback went down, the starting quarterback went down, and then they brought in Broomfield. He ended up getting hurt, so they went to their third quarterback, and they still was hanging in the game all the way till the end.
Yeah, Joke, I was really impressed with Madison Prep's depth at quarterback. Edwin Kleinpeter had a rifle for an arm. He was throwing some darts. He didn't last too long. He ran for a first down on a long run and just got decked. And was walking. Something must have happened to his ankle. He was never the same. Then Sherrod Brumfield came off the bench. You see Southern Lab starting to crowd the box a little bit. You're thinking they're going to run the ball just so you can feel the rhythm. And he launches a bomb, I think it was a 67-yard bomb for a touchdown. I believe Brian Savoy was the one who caught it. I don't remember, but that set the tone. Madison Prep said we came to play. Keep in mind, it's the same Madison Prep team that lost 63-6 early this year, hosting the Southern Lab Kittens for their homecoming. So they came to play, but Southern Lab was prepared. They stuck with their game plan, and they were successful. And now they're advancing, to the state finals, the state championship game, which has been their goal the entire year. I think it's been on their mind since they were eliminated last year in the semifinal round of the playoffs. Bladrick Veal was incredible. 13 of 25, 252 yards. That's more than 10 yards per attempt last night. And then Darby on Profit, while he was just 192 yards or more in 3 consecutive weeks. He didn't quite hit that benchmark again, but he still ran for 134 yards on 25 carries. Once again, he was very, very hard to bring down in that game. Madison Prep did use a total of 4 quarterbacks in that game, and while their completion percentage was not very good. It was barely 40%. They did throw for 193 yards and 2 touchdowns, so Madison Prep hung in there. We had a chance to chat with some of the players on the Southern Lab team. We've told you a lot about Derek Pate on this show. We finally had a chance to talk to him. Here's what he had to say.
This is Gerard Piper with Louisiana All-American Sports Show, and I'm here with the playmaker himself, Derek Pate. You had a great game, man. You guys on y'all way to New Orleans. How you feel?
Man, I feel good, man. We've been working all week, all day, every game, bro. We've been dreaming about this, man.
And I know it was a big game for you. I heard that Madison Prep used to be a school that you used to go to a couple of years ago, and I know it feels sweet for to be able to beat these guys and get down there to the state final.
Yeah, man. I love Madison Prep, but I'm over here, baby, trying to get a championship ring, baby.
Yeah, I saw you had 2 big plays that kind of started out. You guys had beat these guys bad, 63-6. I want to say early in the year, and this time they kind of fought hard, but you guys was able to withstand the penalties that you had and was able to overcome, settle down. And so how you feel about how y'all overcame?
Man, I feel good, man. We took them lightning at first, but man, we talked. I told them, man, we gotta have this, man. This is my senior year, bro.
That's what's up, man. Congratulations to you, man. Hope to see y'all there, and good luck to y'all.
All right.
Thank you.
That was Derek Pate, senior, incredible playmaker. I don't know where he's going to school next year, but he's going somewhere. This kid has a 5th gear on him, like the likes of which I've rarely seen at the high school ranks. We had a chance to also talk with, well, I'll tell you what, Piper was all over the place last night. He was so quick. He got to everybody. You know, I said, Piper, we got to pack up the equipment. Why don't you go down there, see if you can catch some folks. I'll catch up to you. I get down there. Oh, I'm done. Got to everybody. Anyway, Bladrick Veal, quarterback for the Southern Lab Kittens. This kid's development is just getting exponentially better. Again, if you're a college scout and you're listening, you need to check this kid out. He's somebody that could possibly help your team. Hello. Let's try this again. All right.
Gerard Piper here with Louisiana All-American Sports Show, and I'm here with the man of the hour, the quarterback, Bladrick Veal. You played a great game. How you feel you done tonight?
I just put it all in my team, man. I get halves out of my O-line. Without them, I couldn't do anything.
Well, you guys kind of overcame a little bit. You beat this team early in the year, 63-6, and this time they came out with a little bit more fight in them. And early in the game, it seemed to be a little cold. The ball was kind of getting away from you, but you settled down a little bit, and you was able to maintain and start putting the ball on the money, man. You did a great job. Your offensive line started standing up, but how do you feel about going into next week now?
Next week is going to be crazy. We still got to practice. We still got to stay focused and stay sharp. It ain't going to be easy. This is what we want, but it ain't going to be easy next week. But December 5th, the ring will be on our fingers. It will be on our fingers.
Well, that's what's up. He said it here. The man said the ring's going to be on his finger, and I believe it, man. Great job, man. Good luck to you guys. All right.
That's Bladrick Veal, very confident and justifiably so. He probably played, he might have played, we've watched Southern Lab now for 4 or 5 games this year. It's the best game I've seen him play since we started watching him last year in Louisiana All-American Sports. Might be the best game he's played all year. Again, 252 yards on 25 attempts.
I didn't know he had that many yards, and he actually did play well. And as we've been watching him, each game, he's getting better and better. I got a chance to kind of look at him a little closer last night, and he's a tall guy, and he can put on a little weight, man. This guy, and he has the confidence. He just has an aura about himself that shows leadership. So I was very impressed.
Yeah, I think all Bladrick needs to have a real shot at playing at the college levels as a quarterback is about 25 pounds.
Right.
But he's also a very good basketball player. I don't know how that's going to shape out. Anyway, finally, the coach of the Southern Lab Kittens, this is a guy, hey, college guys, if you're recruiting. Now, I know if Dr. Harrison's listening at Southern Lab, that's the principal, that's the head honcho there. We don't want to take your coach. But if you're college and you're small college and looking for a bright high school mind, this is one of the 2. We've been doing this for several years now at Louisiana All-American Sports, and in my opinion, this is one of the 2 sharpest coaching minds I've come across in the Baton Rouge area. Coach Nick Mitchell.
Maybe about McKinley.
Oh.
Gerard Piper with Louisiana All-American Sports Show, and we're here with the man of the hour, Coach Nick Mitchell with the Southern Lab Kittens. How you think you guys did tonight? I know you started off a little bit kind of slow, but you guys settled in, and you did a great job tonight. How you feel about your team going to the final?
Well, our guys have been made resilient all year by the schedule that we played. We played a lot of tough teams throughout the season, and it built us for this moment. And, I give credit to Madison Prep and Coach Roach, those guys did a very good job going into their second year to be able to get to this point, and they did a tremendous job getting those guys prepared. I'm very proud of our football team because, we've come a long way. We've taken strides from one year to the next, and I told our guys that the bridge to cross was this one, to get to the dome, because we'd already been in the quarters, already been in the semis, and this was the next step. And for us to be great as a program, this is the step we had to take.
Man, great job you guys did. I know you guys beat these guys 63-6 early in the year, and you guys did a great job. These guys came out and fought. Their quarterback went down. They had to go to another quarterback, and they fought hard. And you did a great job by not overestimating these guys.
Yeah, well, like I said, we knew, going into the game that it was going to be a little bit more difficult, and we was going to have to earn everything. And so they made us earn it on offense. Defensively, we did what we needed to do. And, defense wins championship, and I knew our defense would come through in the end, and they did that, and I'm proud of it.
Oh, congratulations, Coach. You got any questions?
I got one question, Coach. You got Ouachita Christian. It's ironic because I'm sure your opponent tonight had a little revenge in their mind. You all did something to them I don't think they expected last year, so it might be a little bit of the same. How you guys prepare for them?
Well, we've got a lot of filming. We've got 4 days, so we've got to get ourselves prepared. We can't let the moment be too big for us, and we've got to make sure that we put our guys in a good position to be able to be successful, because we're not finished. We got one more thing left to accomplish, and I look forward to doing that.
All right, Coach, congratulations.
Congratulations, Coach. Great job. Great job. Way to step it up.
So that was Coach Nick Mitchell, and there was a lot of you and y'all and them. Just to bring you all up to speed, the Southern Lab, as we mentioned earlier, beat Madison Prep to a pulp earlier this year, and then ironically last season Madison Prep went up to Ouachita Christian, snapped a string of, I believe it was 25 consecutive home games that Ouachita Christian had won, beat them to advance to the state semis, and now this year, fast forward, they're in the state championship facing Ouachita Christian, and I'm sure that they got this game. They have this potential opponent circled, the Southern Lab Kittens circled on their calendar to possibly avenge last year's loss. So that was just fantastic, a fantastic, great game and a great wrap up for the season, not really the season, but the non-Superdome portion, the non-championship portion of the season was a great way for them to play their last home game. There was other action in the Baton Rouge metropolitan area. A lot of teams in the area, of course, are still vying for some state accolades. We talked about Zachary and Scotlandville last week. Zachary was a heavy favorite. Scotlandville has advanced past the second round to the state quarterfinals for the first time in their history, and the Scotlandville Hornets season, which was a long shot one. They were seeded in the 20s. I believe they were 22nd seed, but their Cinderella season came to an end last night as they fell to Zachary, who was a heavy favorite. Zachary's they're just such a well-oiled machine. But hey, big props to the Scotlandville Hornets for stepping up. Maybe they're going to become a football and a basketball school, but they did lose last night, 41-26. At Zachary last night. The Hornets Zachary got off to a fast start, and the Hornets could never catch up, but still big props to Coach Ryan Robb out there in his first year at Scotlandville. He has done an outstanding job. Lindsey Scott, we've mentioned him. He's the quarterback for the Zachary Broncos. We've talked about him over and over and over again. He's a junior, and let me tell you, he lit it up. 11 of 18 last night. That's about, just doing the math in my head, about 67%, 65%. 4 touchdown passes on 18 attempts, 156 yards, 4 touchdown passes. So pretty much every fifth time the ball left his hands, it was going into the end zone.
Wow.
The Hornets also, the Broncos didn't, they did everything to help Scotlandville out, give them a little help. They picked up a lot of yards on a lot of penalties called against Zachary. They're going to have to clean that up before going into the semifinal round. But Coach Eric Randall. Okay, this got me a little confused here. See, last week they mentioned Coach Ryan Robb of Scotlandville. I thought Eric Randall was still the coach. Now this week they're mentioning Eric Randall, so I'm gonna have to get some clarification on that. If anyone can help us out here, 225-343-9927, 225-343-9927. But Scotlandville had a great season. when you run across the Zachary Broncos at home with that talented kid, I mean, Lindsey Scott's going to be playing at the college levels, probably a Power 5 college school. It's going to be really, really tough to put them down. It's a growing phase, and we've watched this team grow up, and I think Scotlandville is headed for bigger things as they continue to progress.
Yeah, I think they're headed for bigger things, too. They don't have to hold their heads down. I mean, for them, they've never been known as a football team program. They've always been known as a basketball program. So for Scotlandville to be able to, go as far as they did is something to hold their hats on. They also had a pretty good game last night. Zachary came out and jumped on them, I think, with a 21-point lead, and so they kind of put them in the hole. But they was able to get some positive yardage. The running back actually had 113 yards rushing. Levi Lewis.
Levi Lewis is actually the quarterback. Yeah, he is the quarterback. He did have 113 yards, and he also was 16 of 24 for 154 yards. That's
and two touchdowns.
Yeah, nothing to sneeze at. So I mean, he's only a sophomore, so things are looking good over there in Scotlandville. I think that team is going to be. It's going to be fun times at Scotlandville High School for the next few years. We know the basketball program with Coach Carlos Sample is going to be, they already have their travel arrangements made for wherever the top 28 is going to be this year. They already punched that out back in the summer. That's already done. Coach Sample knows that off top. But the football program is really, congratulations, great job out there. We love to see local area schools come up, and of course 2 traditional powerhouses in the Baton Rouge area, and that's a call there. We have coming in. Maybe somebody can help straighten us out. But we had U High going back for the second consecutive year. U High and Parkview Baptist both won last night, and we're going to pick up on that in just a moment. We have a call on the line. Good morning. You are on the air on Louisiana All-American Sports. With whom am I speaking?
Oh, Boss Player. How you get?
Boss Player. What's going on, man? How's it?
All right.
What you got this morning, boss?
Oh, man, just calling to piggyback on some of that. We had some great local non-select high school football that you guys were mentioning here this morning. And Carlos Sample, he does have a knack for making it to the big game.
Yeah, he does.
Exactly. I think Coach Randall is still the coach at Scotlandville.
Correct. Who is this? Who is Ryan Robb? That's the name I saw last week, unless it was a typo in the Advocate. That was the name I saw, and I was because we talked to Coach Randall. He had a good season last year, and I'm like, well, why isn't he there anymore? But I just kind of roll with it. So, do you know if is Coach Robb an assistant, or is that? Do you think it's a mistake? Do you know much about that situation up there?
I think he's an assistant, if I'm not mistaken.
That would make perfect sense. All right, boss. Well, look, we're going to pick up on the rest of the high school action. You have anything else for us for this segment?
Just wanted to talk about that Bayou Classic today. We finally got us a good one here.
Oh yeah. Come on, let's it's a little ahead of the curve, but bring it on in, man.
Let's go, baby. Who you picking?
With the last, several years, but we finally got us a game where, and I think the winner of this game may eventually come back with the SWAC championship. Preferably to be the Jaguars. That way we can keep the morale up in the city with the way the Saints and, disappointing year that the Tigers had.
Mm-hmm. Well, one set of Tigers might not have such a disappointing year. Now, of course, regardless, the winner, Southern or Grambling, will face Alcorn State in Houston. Do you think Southern they couldn't stop a running nose against Alcorn State, let alone the offense? How do you think they might fare in the rematch?
Well, right now, the defense, the rush defense for the Jaguars has improved as the season is going on.
That's correct.
Glancing at some stats there, I think they're ranked 5th against the rush and 5th against the pass and 6th in overall points in the conference. And they're averaging about 33 a game, whereas Alcorn is 44. So, you get a chance to improve on some areas and hope that you can come up with a game plan to nullify whatever Alcorn strengths may be in.
They're going to throw the ball a lot, I'll tell you that much. They're going to throw the ball, and when they're stuck, they're going to throw the ball again.
Right.
But what I think the difference may be today with Southern and Grambling, they're pretty much balanced offense and defensive units. I think the difference in the game may be their special teams, with Southern 3rd in punting and 3rd in punt return and 1st in kickoff return, whereas Grambling is, at the lower
point.
That's an excellent point. And let me tell you, I agree with you, boss player, and I thank you for the call. We just have to move on for time, but I agree with a point you made, especially on these middle to lower tiers of college football. Special teams can be special, unlike the Power Fives, where pretty much every kicker's going to make their extra points. Every punter's going to get at least a 35, 40-yard net. That's not always the case in SWAC football, and Southern they've had a couple of special teams blunders, but for the most part, they've had it together. And let me tell you, a big break for Southern or against Grambling on special teams in a close game like this could be the difference.
Could be the difference. Very well be the difference. Two evenly matched teams, rivalry. I mean, this is a real big game. I don't think they should be able to look ahead and try to look at Alcorn State. We know they're going to probably come in as the underdog against that team, Alcorn, with the passing game that they have and the lethal weapons that they do have. But I think that if Southern can get in here and get the confidence and actually beat Grambling, it's going to come down to, you could throw the records out the window. This is what it is. This is Bayou Classic. It's every year. I don't care if Southern was 0-9. When they play the Grambling Tigers, they're going to give it their all. This is what it's about. It's almost like a home game. You know, we're closer here. It's in to Baton Rouge in New Orleans. So, hey, I'm going to hold my pick for right now. I'm going to kind of marinate on it a little bit. I know T is out there with his G hat and his G sweater on and all this and that there. But it's all good. You know, I still got love for my boy. I miss him, Mr. Professor out there. But, you know what I'm leaning towards. I'm leaning toward them Jags, man.
Oh, yeah.
I can't go against the grain.
We'll talk about that in a minute, but, yeah, I'm in agreement with you, and I'll go into why momentarily. Tipping back to high school, we still got a couple of ones we want to talk about. Big games. U-High last year got clobbered in the Division II state championship game last year, but there's been some shuffling of the classifications. They got beaten, if I remember correctly, by Curtis. I think Curtis is playing in Division III this year, or Division I rather, which is going to open up some opportunity for U-High. They will play Parkview Baptist, that just whooped up on their opponent at the Shrine on Airline last night, and we'll have these two Baton Rouge area schools playing in New Orleans next Friday for the Division II state championship. U-High just put a whooping on Notre Dame, 35-13 yesterday, and Parkview Baptist put a hurting. Hold on, hang on, folks. And we'll get to that caller in just a moment. And Parkview Baptist busted out the whooping stick last night at home for a big victory that's going to set up the matchup between these two. These are not just Baton Rouge area rivals. These are District 7 3A rivals. They are in the same district. So these familiarity breeds contempt. U-High knocked Parkview Baptist out of the playoffs last year. So these teams have met now, Joker, a total of 4 times in the past 2 years. So this is going to be a real slugfest, a real battle between these two teams in the Superdome.
Oh, man, what a battle. But at the end of the day, I think Baton Rouge wins. So
I got that right.
You know what I mean? But from my observation, and we've covered U-High a couple of times this year, and I got to be honest, they are the best team that I've seen play this year.
They are coached very well.
Coached very well.
Coach Mahaffey,
sound, man.
That man's got a game plan and just runs his script. Livonia defeated Rayville last night. They will advance to the Class 3A semifinals. The Plaquemine Green Devils just kept on rolling. They're the number 1 seed, and they will advance to the state semifinals in 4A as they plowed South Terrebonne 33-22. Parkview Baptist, by the way, defeated St. Charles, the final net score, St. Charles Catholic, rather. That score was 29-20. West Feliciana from across the river, that team just keeps on rolling, and they will advance to the state semifinals. They defeated Union handily 48-21,
wow.
And that improves them to 11-2 overall, and they will face their neighbor, their rival, Livonia, all neighbors there in Point Capee Parish. Northeast defeats East Feliciana. Manny defeated St. James in the 2A quarterfinals, 28-14. Kinder just busted out the whooping stick, knocking out Springfield, our neighbors in Livingston Parish, in the 2A quarterfinals, so they advance. West St. John advanced. They were losing by 13 points at the half to Plain Dealing, and they just pulled it all up together in the second half. Their head coach, he's a friend of the show. I can see him right now. Friend of Perry Daniels. Now I'm embarrassed. I want to say it's Coach Valdez. I want to say. I hope I got it right, Coach. But we've met him before. Great guy, great coach, and his team is going on to the semifinals in 1A. And White Castle, another friend of our show, they did go down last night, being eliminated in the semifinal round. But still a great year for the White Castle Bulldogs and assistant head coach Kevin Jackson and that staff over there. So we have a caller on the line as we get ready to start talking about the Bayou Classic. This is Eric Hatfield. You're on Louisiana All-American Sports. With whom am I speaking?
This is Baby D.
What's your name? Wait, say that one more time, buddy.
Baby D.
Baby D. What you got, Baby D?
Baby D.
I want to give a shout out to my youth football team, the South Baton Rouge Jaguars.
All right.
Okay.
Junior and Pee Wee team is in the championship.
All right. Are you on? And you're on that team?
Yeah, I played for the senior team. We lost last week.
Okay.
Wow, sorry to hear that.
It's all right. That's all right. Obviously, you had a good season. And what position do you play, Baby D?
Cornerback.
Oh, all right. We got a little arm slinging there, man. How old are you, son?
13.
13? All right. So that would make you a 7th or an 8th grader, right?
8th grade, sir.
All righty. Where you going to high school?
Redemptress.
Redemptress.
Wow.
You gonna sling the rock over there? You gonna play quarterback at Redemptress? You gonna play some football?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Good for you, buddy. Who you like in the Bayou Classic today? Who you got, Southern or Grambling?
Grambling.
All right.
Grambling.
Okay. Did your mom or your dad go to Grambling, or your uncles, anybody?
My mom.
All right, that's why I hear you. All right, well, look, you're a Tigers fan, so you're all right with me. Baby D, thank you very much for the phone call.
What's up? Good luck to you, young man.
South Baton Rouge Jaguars in the house. That's good. And he called to rep the little guys. He didn't even on that team. Good for him, man. I hope they're listening, and I hope they're listening, and I hope they heard your shout out. That's leadership right there. That's a quarterback.
That's quarterback.
That's what a quarterback does.
And we have to one day be able to, maybe cover a little league. We start out at high school.
Yeah.
We need to drop down a little bit.
Might get a championship game or two on there, get the neighborhood involved or something like that.
Yeah.
So we've been talking already. Who's going to win? Southern Grambling, and we're going to voice our opinions momentarily. We're going to take a brief recess, but we have a little something to entertain you. We're going to see who was right and who was wrong last week. But real quick, we're going to have just on the other side of the break. We're going to have we have an interview with Southern University Athletic Director Dr. William Broussard. He was kind enough to give Louisiana All-American Sports a few moments of his time and talk about the goings on at Southern. And actually, we had to edit the interview for time, but you'll be able to hear the full interview on the YouTube version of this week's Louisiana All-American Sports. We'll be talking the Bayou Classic coming up. We'll talk about LSU and where they're headed and where they're going. And then finally, we got to talk about the National Football League. There are a lot of stories going on there. And hey, 4-7. We are tied for first place, baby. Who dat? But right now, here's this week's edition of I Told You So. By the way, area code 225-343-9927. Area code 225-343-9927.
I told you. What did I tell you? Didn't I tell you? 'Cause I told you. And when did I tell you? A long time ago. And what did I say will happen when I told you? Exactly what just happened.
In that game, it's hard. It's hard for me to get comfortable. Putting up the pom-poms for LSU because they played such uninspired football. But I cannot pick them to lose to Texas A&M, even though.
But after last week's game, I just don't know. I'm going on the road right now to go face Kevin Sumlin's team. And they've been, again, I'm picking LSU too. They should come back in this game motivated, come back on the road. They can run the ball. Texas A&M doesn't have that run defense. So this is a game that, is tailor-made.
Like I said, the only game between two ranked teams that I saw was USC, UCLA. I'm picking UCLA.
This week, I'm going to actually go against the Saints. I'm going to pick the Baltimore Ravens because the Saints are showing me that they're regressing.
Professor?
Eureka, I think he's got it. I agree with Joko 100%. I think that Baltimore goes in here and strong-arm manhandles New Orleans.
There is no way I am picking the Saints to lose 3 consecutive games at home. They've won 12 straight in primetime at home. and they beat Green Bay in primetime at home. I'm no way I'm picking the Ravens to win this game. This is probably one you might not have circled on your schedule in August, but this is a big game. The New England Patriots 8-2. The Detroit Lions leading the NFC North, tied with the Packers at 7-3. They win the North by virtue of a tiebreak over the Packers right now. They are playing the New England Patriots this week. That is going to be a really good game. They have to go to Foxborough, Massachusetts. So I will just tell you off the top, I'm picking the Patriots in that game, and actually I think the Patriots will win big. I don't know.
Hey, very easy pick right here. I think that Detroit is a little bit overrated. You're talking about Tom Terrific, Gronkowski, and on the defense right now, people are not talking about Reeves, but he's doing an absolutely great job this year. So he is going to probably get Megatron if he plays. And so, hey, Tom Terrific, no brainer.
What?
Yeah. I like the Patriots, man. I think that Detroit is in too deep. I think that they're in over their head. As you said, the line is New England +7 at home. I mean, that's a strong line coming from Vegas, 7 points. I think Detroit is in too deep. I'm going with New England.
Arizona Cardinals travel to Seattle. No Drew Stanton, no running attack in Seattle against the 12th man. I'm picking the Seahawks.
Oh, wow, man. Big game right here. Big game right here. I got to go with the defending champs. Close game by Seattle.
Professor?
I'm going to go up this grain quickly, and I'm going with Arizona.
So, yeah, I'll tell you, there was I definitely swung and missed on the Saints. They have the Pittsburgh Steelers at Heinz Field this weekend. That's not going to be an easy task. But now getting back to the matter at hand, Southern University and Grambling State University meet today in the Bayou Classic for the 41st time. This game has just been something special every year. Now, just to catch everybody up, that game is going to be at 1:30 this afternoon at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans. NBC has been carrying that game since the early 90s, and big props to them. They jumped on board. They took a chance when they weren't sure how successful it might have been. Well, they're carrying that game every year. They put it on national TV, and they've helped make this game even bigger than it was going in. So it'll be on NBC. Hey, if you're at the JOB, if you got to run errands and stuff, no problem. You can catch the game on Downtown 97.7 in Baton Rouge. If you are unable to, if you're not near a radio and all you got your cell phone, no problem. You can get it on the iHeart radio application, but that's Downtown 97.7 or on NBC. We had a chance, though, to chat with Dr. William Broussard, who was the athletic director at Southern University. This is a sharp young guy. He came over from Centenary. I think made a step up to a larger school with a lot more athletic tradition. And it has not been easy. He inherited the entire mess with the academic records keeping and, cost the Southern University track and basketball teams. They were ineligible for postseason play. But I'll tell you, Dr. Broussard came in under a mountain of you-know-what, and as kind of like in Shawshank Redemption, he's got Southern University starting to come out clean on the other side. Dr. Broussard was kind enough to give us a few minutes of his time on Louisiana All-American Sports. This was what he had to say. I really appreciate you giving me a few minutes of your time. I know you got to be quite busy right now, especially with the build-up to the big event on Saturday.
Oh, that's not a problem at all.
Well, look, I guess I'll lead in. I wanted to kind of bring our audience, we chatted with you back in March, and we've been talking a lot of Southern athletics lately, especially with the success the football team has had again. So I guess to bridge everything, catch us up on what's been going on with you and Southern University since the last time we chatted.
Of course, football's been the big focal point on a 6-game winning streak right now. Tied for first division. Really got a great opportunity here over these next couple of weeks to defend our Bayou Classic championship and go back to Houston and have another shot at Alcorn and opportunity to avenge our only conference loss this year. So it's been busy. A lot of time on the road, a lot of time meeting with investors and corporate sponsors, and trying to sell some tickets and trying to put some student athletes in position to be successful on and off the field.
Dr. Broussard, that's awesome. It sounds like things have been really happening there at Southern University. You had talked about eligibility criteria, and of course the hot potato several months ago, early this year, was the APR situation. How's that all playing out?
Very slowly, and it's again, I think it's very important to make a distinction. It's not an APR situation. The ban that we're facing because of the APR, because of the NCAA probation, was not due to our student athletes not acquitting themselves well in the classroom. It's not due to low retention rates or graduation success rate as above 60% for the third straight year, which is going to put us near the top of the conference and probably in the top 5 in the nation among HBCUs. The issue is with unusable data on our campus. That they know that what networking is doing is investing in students at the university, not just in the athletic department, but investing in those student athletes. And so I'm really excited about the collaboration and cooperation we've received from that.
Well, I'm glad you drew that distinction. I think because I do think the common perception, just with folks that just kind of knew a little bit but didn't read too deep into the issue, might have assumed it was an academic issue. And I think it is important to draw the distinction that it's in fact a data and data collection and data management and data mining issue, as opposed to the kids not doing their thing. So I'm glad you drew that distinction for the audience. We have a big build-up to the Bayou Classic coming up here on Saturday. It's the first time in a really long time, Dr. Broussard, that this game has been meaningful for anything besides, regional pride. It's the de facto Western Division Championship. What's the atmosphere like on campus and among the players? I mean, give I guess people like myself in the audience an insight onto what it's like right now in the Southern football community.
Well, our fans are obviously thrilled about it. An opportunity for us to go and defend the championship. Not just defend the championship, but to defend it. Really thanks to the league, starting with our most storied rival at Grambling on the national stage of the Classic. So, just saying, it's important to our fans to provide to have the opportunity to provide support, not just financial support to these two institutions, but this brand that alumni and folks affiliated with Grambling and Southern and the corporate sponsor have worked for 41 years to build, that we not let that fall.
I hear you, and it's interesting you point that out, that this year, oftentimes it's a celebration, but it's not just a celebration. First and foremost, it is a football game because of what's at stake on the field and the pageantry off of the field. What's the outlook for the basketball program this year? I know Southern University is just getting the ball rolling. They're 1-3 right now. But, of course, they've yet to participate in SWAC play. What's the outlook right now for the program this year?
On the men's side, Coach Banks always has some tricks to believe.
Right.
A lot of folks were counting us out, didn't pick us to repeat this year as conference champion because we lost Calvin Godfrey to transfer. But Adrian Rogers early on is looking like he could be the guy who can carry a lot of the load for us in terms of scoring. And he's always going to have, a team, a great team. 6, 7, 8, 9 guys on any given night who can pitch in, contribute, help us win games. So it's early in the season. We're playing a lot of games right now. The guarantee games right now where you're going out, trying to pick off 1 or 2 of those teams if you can in the preseason, but at the same time just trying to build momentum, learn what kind of a team you got, so that by the time we get to conference play, we know exactly what we're dealing with. That's our plan.
Okay. Well, one last question then. Baseball, Fernando Puebla, the assistant coach, the one who kind of gets his hands dirty and get into his elbows with the work. I know there was an immigration issue that kept him off the bench last year. Is he going to be back in 2015, and is that all settled and resolved?
Coach Puebla is actually already back in the States. We're happy to have him back. We still got some things to work out in terms of getting him back onto campus and back high and affiliated with the program. But he is back in Baton Rouge, and we're glad to have him back. And hopefully he and now combining efforts with Coach Cato, obviously, and Coach Dan Camaveri, who just joined our staff this year, we think we'll have one of the strongest staffs in the conference.
That then. Well, look, Dr. Broussard, like I said, I know you're a busy man, so I do appreciate you giving and by extension our listeners some of your time. So thanks a whole lot. I really, really, really appreciate you taking time to talk. That was Dr. William Broussard, Southern University athletic director, was our guest. I tell you that I think he's got the program steering in the right direction. He knows where he is. He knows what he needs to do. He understands the kind of program that he's in, and ever since he's gotten there, everything, in my opinion, has been steering in the right direction for the Southern University athletic program.
Good deal, man. Good deal. I mean, we know that Southern always, their football program is resurrected, and the basketball program kind of went down a little bit, but I'm glad to be able to hear him speak about the basketball program and the way that I think they're heading in the right direction, too. So kudos to him.
All right, so we'll go around the horn. No, just two of us, I guess, talking, but we'll go around the horn real quick. You said earlier you've got Southern University in the Bayou Classic. I'm picking Southern University in the Bayou Classic. This is the difference here. While I think that Coach Broderick Fobbs has done an incredible job in his first season, getting Grambling out to a 7-1 conference record. This is a team that could not buy a win last year. I don't know if they won any games. Maybe they had one victory. I don't know. Little Sister the Poor, Lighthouse the Blind. I'm not sure. But this is a completely different team this year, and he has taken the same kids, and he's gotten them to buy into his process, and now Grambling is a win away from playing for the SWAC championship. I don't think it's going to happen today. Southern is just what I call a more mature SWAC team. They've been winning in the SWAC. They know how to win in the SWAC. They know how to rally back from deficits. I just think Coach Dawson Odoms is one step ahead of the curve.
Yeah, I think so too, and that's why this game is so big. It's not like years past where only thing I was looking forward to was the halftime show. You know what I mean?
Of course. I'm looking forward to the game this time.
I'm looking forward to the actual game this time. And you can just feel the energy out there. And I think the momentum that Southern has with the win streak that they have, they came into their own. They know how they want to play now. And I think that they're gonna rise to the occasion today. Let's go.
I'll tell you what, too, and, Coach Odoms is trying to get his second consecutive SWAC championship, and that always goes big at contract time. Right. And, I'm sure he's going to tell the kids before they go out onto the field.
What's that?
Playing with my money is like playing with my emotions.
So they're not going to let those kids play with his money, and I think they're going to be ready to play. I think you're going to expect, Leonard Tillery and Willie Quinn and the crew. I think they're going to be poised to have a big game today.
Yeah, they better win, because we don't want to see Coach go back to that ice cream truck.
So anyway, so there's also action going on outside of the state of Louisiana. This is the final Saturday of the college football regular season, and that means a lot of rivalries are taking place today. College football, and you can see a lot of it, be it on CBS or otherwise. The big game of the day, though, in the Southeastern Conference is the Iron Bowl. Auburn University going out to Alabama. I'm not sure if they're playing that game at Bryant-Denny Stadium or at Legion Field, but either way, Alabama's going to be the host. I think Auburn's defense has been completely exposed and is falling apart at the seams. Meanwhile, I think Alabama, since outlasting LSU, has just gone up and up and up.
Exactly, and that's what I was exactly going to say. I think LSU and I think Mississippi State has really primed Alabama. They was able to overcome that and able to play their game and win both of those games, and I thought that was actually the test. And it kind of galvanized them a little bit, so they're playing at their top level right now. Alabama is there.
I like Alabama myself in that game. I assume you're going with Alabama?
Alabama all day.
All
Roll
right.
Tide.
Other action we have going on this afternoon. Mississippi State is going to travel to Oxford to face Ole Miss in the Egg Bowl. You want to talk about a tale of two half seasons. Mississippi State looked as good as anyone. Ironically, after they came to LSU and lost in a very tight game, the wheels seemed to come off. And Mississippi State, their only hiccup was a loss to Alabama, a close loss. It was less than a 7-point game. I think they go into Oxford and put Ole Miss out of its misery.
I think so too. And just like you said, Ole Miss had the same type of season. They started out real well. It was, beating teams down. They beat Alabama actually, and was in the top 3 in the country. And last week they got blanked by Arkansas. So, tale of two is just, I don't know, SEC.
This wasn't on the. Speaking of a tale of two seasons, Arkansas. Where's that team been all year? I'm scared of them next year. Georgia Tech against Georgia. I don't know what the name of it is. I always call it.
Peach Bowl, I guess.
You can call it that, or you can call it William Tecumseh Sherman's avenging. I don't know, but anyways, two teams close to Atlanta playing each other. One in the ACC. Georgia Tech's already in the ACC championship, or should be in the ACC championship game, I believe. I got to double check that. They'll be playing Florida State, and meanwhile they will play Georgia, who's trying to just cling on to their SEC hopes by a fingernail. But actually, even without Todd Gurley, I like Georgia in this game. They're at home between the hedges, and I just don't think ACC defenses can handle SEC running games, even with Georgia's second-string running back.
Yeah, I second that. I think Georgia, actually, to me, they started out real well. They was ranked real high because people had a lot of expectations of them and of that team. But to me, they underachieved this year. Of course, the injury to Todd Gurley helped out. But I thought they underachieved this year. I thought they were supposed to do a little bit better than they did this year. But, hey, that's just me. Missouri takes the conference for a second year in a row.
And finally, we're going to talk about the LSU-Texas A&M game. LSU-Texas A&M game. We figured LSU would win. We figured they would handily. They won 23-17. Texas A&M put on a few points at the end. That was mostly window dressing. And but it's kind of what we expected. They didn't really throw the ball particularly well or efficiently. They didn't. They ran well and ran hard. They could not stop Leonard Fournette, which ended up being the difference in the ball game. But LSU, they finished the season 8-4. They have a 500 record in SEC play, so at least they stay out of the cellar, which we thought might have happened. But Anthony Jennings again, kind of just an okay performance, over 100 yards passing. He kind of hit the dinks and dunks. But it was really just running. Now I'll give Jennings this one thing I'll say, and I think they found something with Jennings is when the play broke down or when he didn't have anything, he did not hesitate to take off and run. And I think that might have even been the difference in the ball game. But LSU's got to find a solution. They got to get Brandon Harris ready to play next year. Anthony Jennings, good guy, dedicated player, gets the basics down, but this man cannot pass. And Brandon Harris has a rifle for an arm.
Has a gun. And you hit it right on the head, Eric. I mean, at every position, LSU was actually good. The defense started to step up this year. They slacked off at first, but they started to come together. Everything has come together except the quarterback position. Yeah. And I think that's why they underachieved a little bit. Well, I think they may have had the expectation of what people thought. Some people picked them last in SEC.
Right. No, that didn't happen. But, 8-4.
I guess that's probably
that was the expectation.
Right. Yeah.
But it was just a grating 8-4. You look at the Alabama game and then how they let Mississippi State just slap them around when that had not happened this century. It was really they've got to correct the big hole. The elephant in the room is the quarterback position. They've got to fix that. I think if they do that, though, when you look at the other positions and consider we're talking about a lot of sophomores and juniors, none of whom are going to the NFL this year, and Leonard Fournette. Next year is, you can say Eric's wearing his purple and gold glasses, but hey, if you watch the games, you can see the potential in the future.
Right. And I think they should be pre-ranked in the top 5 or top 10 next year.
I agree. I think somewhere awful close, man. So we have a caller on the line. We got about 60 seconds. We got to move along for time, but what you got today?
How you guys doing? Enjoying the show.
Hey, all right. Who am I speaking with?
What's going on?
Oh, man, I'm looking at LSU. I got one thing to say. Fire Les Miles.
And here we go.
The Miles and your team, we had the best offensive unit last year. We failed. But the best offensive unit last year. And this year, I look at it as a rebuilding year. We had a good team. I think the coach had a lot to do with that. You cannot progress a quarterback and all your attention. I think it's time to move on.
Who would you replace him with?
I will get John Harbaugh from the 49ers.
You think John Harbaugh would want to come back to college and from the NFL making a?
Yeah, I think he enjoyed it though. His best success was in college ranks. I think he looked more happy when he was with Stanford. Coming into the NFL, a lot of coaches don't fit that chemistry style, and he's getting no respect with the 49ers. Let's just be honest. So I think he will come back to the college rank if the price is right, and I think LSU open the books up for him. That's what my coach would be, because for Les Miles now. We done had so many excuses with him. If it went from clock management, if it went from the kickers, the quarterbacks, the offense, it's always excuses of Les Miles every year. I think it's time we'll make LSU is a major program. I think we can get us a good coach out there. I don't think we have to put up with that no more with Les Miles.
Well, first of all, look, we got to move on for time, but I thank you for your call, and I definitely appreciate your passion. I can hear it in your voice. So our last caller thinks that John Harbaugh, the coach of the San Francisco 49ers, who have been to the NFC Championship game 3 consecutive years, played in the Super Bowl 2 years ago, making about a $6 million a year salary, will stop what he's doing with the 49ers to come to down south to a Southeastern Conference school, and that LSU will pay $17 million to terminate the contract of Les Miles, who was the winningest coach in the team's history and has won a national championship and has been on staff for 10 years and has one of the best recruiting classes every year. Folks, mark it down. It's a watershed moment here on Louisiana All-American Sports. For the first time in the 48th edition in the second year of Louisiana All-American Sports at 11:50 on November the 29th, we have had our first caller call in and suggest we fire Les Miles. And once that floodgate opens, it's going to continue. I do thank you, caller. You have just helped us reach a landmark here on the show. I think there's about as much chance of that happening as me winning the Powerball tonight, and I'll even go as far as to say I think Les Miles is the guy to be here for the foreseeable future. I do agree with your criticism. Clock management needs work, and it needs to work on developing quarterbacks. You don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, in my opinion. I think you fix the problems, you get the right assistance in. But I can appreciate your frustration because, like you said, we do have a lot of talent on this team. I mean, I get it. So
the only thing that I would say that may be something you could maybe foresee, also think that if the 49ers don't go to the playoffs this year, I think they're going to fire Harbaugh. Not because of his performance.
No, they don't like him.
Right, because they don't like him. And so he would be available.
Yeah.
Now, so that's the only wrinkle that I would throw in there. And I think he's they treating him unfair in San Francisco, but hey, it's just a thing with him in the front office.
It's a good point you bring up. The only thing is, successful NFL coaches never go back to college. Nick Saban wasn't successful in the NFL. He had a decent year in Miami his first year. The wheels kind of came off, and he hitched his chuck wagon right back to the college ranks.
Go to another team.
Right, exactly. And I think if Jim Harbaugh gets fired, as prickly as his personality is, and as much of a, we know he's kind of a jerk and high-strung, and guess what? There'll be 10 teams lined up to throw money his way to help coach them to a Super Bowl. And the 49ers know that that's going to be an interesting situation in the offseason. I think you're right. I think if they miss the playoffs, maybe he gets canned. But, man, 3 straight NFC championship games and an NFC title. Boy, that's tough to let go. But that actually segues us, and I appreciate the last caller for segueing us to Harbaugh and San Francisco because that leads us to our next, but not least, topic of conversation, the National Football League. So, coming up, our beloved New Orleans Saints, their string of 12 consecutive wins in prime time was snapped last week by the Baltimore Ravens, the Ray Riceless Baltimore Ravens, by the way, and who, by the way, he won his appeal to get reinstated into the league. Yep, we'll have a lot of time next week to talk about that. That news just broke yesterday. But our beloved New Orleans Saints, they traveled to Heinz Field to play the Steelers. I've seen nothing but uninspired football, particularly on the defensive side. By the Saints, but I'm not painting a pretty picture from Drew Brees. He's starting to throw a lot of touchdowns to the other team. That has got to stop. And until it does, I can't pick the Saints on the road in Heinz Field. I think not only are they going to lose to the Steelers, they're going to get curb stomped by the Pittsburgh Steelers, but they'll still control their own destiny.
Hey, I'm going to go against the grain. I'm going to pick the Saints. Remember what I said now. I'm going to pick the Saints. Last week, I was right on every pick last week.
You were batted 1,000. Yep.
Last week. I batted 1,000. But this week, I'm going to go against the grain. I think that the Saints go on the road. I think they have a lot to prove. I'm not confident with the Saints, though. Don't get me wrong. They let me down, for being able to win 20 straight home games in the Dome, not losing and being able to lose 3 in a row. That's just, unacceptable. But I think they rebound. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are not as good as people say they are. The 2 games where he had the 6 touchdowns and 2 back-to-back games, Ben Roethlisberger, was very impressive. But then they came back and laid an egg the next week. And so I think that this week that the Saints go up there, get the upset.
I think, here's the thing, I think the advantages that the Steelers will have will be in 2 departments. One on defense, obviously, but also the weather, too. Yeah, the home field, obviously. But also the coaching. I mean, Sean Payton and on defensively, Rob Ryan, there seems to be not a lot of disconnection. Nothing that can't be patched up and nailed together and fixed in the offseason, but there seems to be a little bit of disconnection. Meanwhile, Mike Tomlin seems to have really galvanized that club in Pittsburgh. I think coaching will be the difference in that game.
Yeah, all the signs point to the Steelers, but I just think that the defense is going to try to redeem themselves. I think they're going to play extra hard because everybody is counting the Saints out. And these are the games, from my notice with the Saints, the ones that you think they're going to lose bad, they end up winning or playing real good. And the games you think that they're supposed to win at home, they lose. So I'm picking the Saints.
I'll tell you, and speaking of which, big matchups. I hope this. Look, I'd love to be wrong, man. I'll gladly take buzzers and wah-wahs and trombones and water getting splashed at me. I'd be happy to see the Saints win. I hope you're right. We have a big matchup for the first time. We have one guy whose bust in Canton has already been made years ago, and another who just really has to continue playing at a competent level for a few more years, and I think he'll be right on his way. Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady meeting for the first time ever head-to-head.
Wow.
New England and Green Bay. The game is being played at Lambeau Field. This is a tough one because often with two good matchups, I tend to defer to the home team. I'm going to hold my nose and hold it tight and actually pick the New England Patriots to win this game. I'm sure to the chagrin of Professor Johnson, but I'm going to pick them to win because right now New England is they're playing flawless football at the moment, and Tom Brady has got it all. He is completely in his zone right now. Green Bay still has holes in their secondary as well as Aaron Rodgers is playing, and he's playing outstanding football right now. And as tough as the Packers are on the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field, my gut instinct just tips ever so slightly towards the New England Patriots in this game.
Wow, man, you pretty much said it, Eric. Both quarterbacks are playing lights out right now. So I think that, that's kind of a stalemate right there. Wow. The frozen tundra, New England plays in the cold, so they're used to playing in the cold. New England has the better defense. They have Darrell Reeves, Brandon Browner's been stepping up. These guys have been stepping up. Who am I picking? Professor, I'm going with the Green Bay Packers for the home team. Just for the reason that I think that Tom Brady, I think they're going to get a little bit of pressure on him this time, and I think they're going to try to blitz him and get him off of his square. And, he can't move as well as Aaron Rodgers can on the run and pass the ball on the run like Aaron Rodgers. I just think the momentum, the home crowd, the frozen tundra, it's a toss-up, but I'm going to go with the Packers.
Many people who have blitzed Tom Brady have not lived to tell about it. Coming up in about 2.5 minutes, we have Noel Jackson with Music Satisfaction here on 96.9 FM WHYRLP, Baton Rouge Community Radio. Other big matchups in the NFL this week, the Denver Broncos, they outlasted the Miami Dolphins, but they showed some real intestinal fortitude. They had their backs against the wall in that game and held on and came back from multiple possessions down to defeat the Dolphins at Mile High. Now this time they have to go to Arrowhead, and I'm going to tell you something. Look, Peyton Manning is still, first of all, he's the greatest regular season quarterback of all time, and he's still going to the Pro Bowl this year, and he might even get a vote for MVP or two. But let me tell you, he doesn't look bulletproof like he always has, and they have to go to Arrowhead Stadium, which even when they're bad, even when the Chiefs have been bad, it's tough to play there. Well, the Chiefs are not bad this year. I mean, they're right there. Andy Reid has got them right there in the playoff hunt. I think they probably let some games slip that they should have. But they're only a game back of the Broncos. They win this game, they're tied for first place. And the Chiefs' secondary is just so quick and tight. I actually like Kansas. First of all, I'm a fan of Manning and the Broncos, and I'm a believer in them in general, but I actually like KC in this game this week.
I like KC too. I like the Chiefs too. I'm starting to see a little bit of chinks in the armor of Denver.
Yeah,
even though they won last week, Eric, but they kind of struggled, and it's been like that for a couple of games. They've been kind of having to struggle. Peyton Manning going up there in Arrowhead, that's almost like the 12th man. That's almost
it
like
sure is. It really
the
is.
Superdome in New Orleans,
and in Seattle too.
Yes, indeed. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs with the upset.
So that's those are all the big games that we have this week. Monday Night Football, not too exciting. We have the Dolphins facing the Jets. That team is just. The Jets have got some problems. So
I don't even want to pick that game, but I want to ask you this before we get off air. Michigan, Ohio State, who you got?
Oh, give me Ohio State. I think they're gonna pound. Michigan always plays up for Ohio State, but I just think Michigan is lacking that one talent. They just don't have that this year. And while I think Ohio State is often very overrated, they're not that overrated. I think they win easily. What do you think?
Wow, Ohio State. I think it's going to be a close game, rivalry game. So I think it's going to be close.
So that's all the time we've got, as we often say.
Holla at you later.
Have a good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everybody.
I knew I put you on the spot.
Hail to the king and lots of love. May he protect us from the evil. Hail to the King, Lords of Lords. May He protect us from evil.